If you didn't already think Trump only cares about his rich buddies, you sure will when you hear this. So when Democrats control Congress, we passed a simple law. Companies that make over $1 billion a year have to pay at least 15% of their profits in taxes. We're talking about a few hundred of the wealthiest corporations in America paying the bare minimum. Come on, that's only fair. So guess what Trump is doing? He's using the powers of the federal government to add loophole after loophole into the law to let those same billionaire corporations off the hook. Now, why in the world should billionaire corporations making over $1 billion a year, get another get out of paying your taxes free card while everyone else has to pay their fair share? Trump is giving his billionaire friends and major donors a return on their investment while he's selling you out.
The great irony is, of course, that Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant, the grandson of an immigrant, and married to an immigrant. In fact, 2 of his 3 wives were immigrants, proving yet again that immigrants will do the jobs that even Americans are not willing to do.
It's Trump without Trump. You won't have to listen to his voice or see his face. This quote is unedited and 100% accurate. This is from the annual White House turkey pardon on November 25th, 2025. These are the words of the President of the United States of America. These are the 2 of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president. Over 50 pounds each. That's the largest we've ever had. Those are big turkeys. Are they as good as the normal sized turkey? Better or as good? Do they tend to be a little bit fatty maybe? No. He says no. He knows the turkey business anyway. Despite their size, Secretary Kennedy has formally certified that these are the first ever Maha turkeys. I don't know if I agree with that. These are Maha. In other words, they could be fat, but they are still Maha. They've been fattened on a steady diet of grass beef to allow the smoothies and all of the other things that they've been eating for this occasion. And this was a really big occasion, but they've eaten every fattening food that you can eat. We worked like we wanted to really make them special. They really are. They are like record setting. I've never seen a turkey that big before. Are they violent at all? Will they attack as I walk over? Because if they were, I'll stay right up here. But as you know, we're a tough on crime administration. We are tough on crime. You know, our border had 0 people coming in for the last 7 months. Right. 0. I mean, even I find that hard to believe. They had millions and millions of people pour into our border from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers. They poured into our country like we were stupid people. We're not stupid people anymore. Donald J. Trump.
The plight of working class Americans is the same everywhere. And we know that. We know that the future of this party, if we are to win again, is to rediscover our soul, is to come home and to realize that we can fight for social, economic, and racial justice for working class Americans. And to fight for that is to fight for all of us. The plight of working
It's people versus money. We're not going to beat them at that big money game. That's a trap. We need to beat them with big organizing. You know, I just want a race where I was outspent 10-1. Big organizing is possible. I believe that big organizing is the future of the Democratic Party. It's people versus
Do you think that J.D. Vance is a fascist?
If it's convenient for him to be a fascist, he'll be a fascist. Maybe later on he'll go back to being a Silicon Valley Democrat. He'll be whatever he needs to be. Right?
Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor, because you are really the transformational president of the American worker.
Your leadership is truly beyond anything we have ever had in this country. And you do not have a small
Thanks, gang.
Working for this government, for you, is the greatest honor of my life.
You have breathed life back into the profession of law enforcement. Your respect for law enforcement is so incredible.
Everyone knows there's no stronger advocate for hardworking American families than you.
Our country has never been so secure thanks to you. You have brought us back from the edge.
And there's only one thing I wish for, that noble committee finally gets its act together and realizes that you are the single finest candidate since this Nobel Award was ever talked about to receive that reward.
It's pretty great to celebrate Labor Day with a builder who loves labor.
All right, I have a disturbing breaking news story coming out of Bloomberg that should anger every single American. Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, was just caught privately advising the Russians on how to more successfully pitch an end to the war to Donald Trump. The only thing is, Russia's peace plan, quote unquote peace plan, is actually just a plan that only benefits them, that will lead to the end of Ukraine and eventually the end of Europe if we keep leading down this path. And Donald Trump's own special envoy, Steve Witkoff, was advising Russia on how to do this. I'm not making this up. This reads, Trump envoy advised Russia on Putin call, Ukraine deal, report. We learned, according to a recent reporting obtained by Bloomberg, that Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, got on the phone with Vladimir Putin's senior foreign policy aide, Yuri Yushakov, and told him exactly what Russia wanted to hear, that Donetsk should belong to Russia, that Zaporizhia should belong to Russia, that all of the land in this buffering area should belong to Russia, and Ukraine should not get any of it, that Ukraine's constitution.
It's Trump without Trump. You won't have to listen to his voice or see his face. This quote is unedited and 100% accurate. This is from the Oval Office press conference on September 15th, 2025. These are the words of the President of the United States of America. You know, a new thing that I've been seeing a lot of lately, but never saw before, is they're walking in with bricks and rocks and everything, and the FBI or the Border Patrol or ICE and or the police are grabbing them or taking them away, and that's great. And then they whip out a hammer, and it's a beautiful hammer. Really, it's nice. You know, this is not a hammer somebody happens to have. These are serious hammers. Beautiful, brand new hammers. And they start breaking up the concrete sidewalks in the granite curbs. And in many cases, granite is hard to cut, you know. It's very hard stone. And they're banging away and handing out pieces of stone. So instead of having it in bags and banging the sidewalk knocking, then you have to see what some of these sidewalks look like when they finish. And especially the curbs, because the granite curbs are very, very expensive, and they're great, and you know, very hard, very. They are almost indestructible, but not when it gets pounded on for 20 minutes by some pretty strong guy. And then they hand out big chunks of stone so that people can throw them at the police, and people can drop them off bridges into car windows. No, we have a long way to go, and we're going to make it all good. We're going to make it really safe. This country's going to be safe. We've got almost 25 years. Think of that, 3.5 years. It's a long time. It goes quickly. But at the end of that time, I hope one of the many things we can say is that we made our city safe again. Donald J. Trump.
For I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me. Then these righteous ones will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you are doing it to me. I don't know, sounds pretty liberal. But wait, I think I want to read just one more part of this. Then the king will turn to those on his left and say, away with you, you cursed ones, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his demons. For I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was thirsty and you didn't give me a drink. I was a stranger and you didn't invite me into your home. I was naked and you didn't give me clothing. I was sick and in prison and you didn't visit me. Then they will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and not help you? And he will answer, I tell you the truth. When you refused to help the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help